It's been a tough stretch this week for many of Watertown's spring sports teams, but the boys lacrosse team did come away with an impressive home victory, while the softball team celebrated senior night in very exciting fashion. Here's everything going on in this week's Raiders Report. The Watertown baseball team continues to search for its first win since April. Back on May 1st against Stoneham, the Spartans broke things open with 4 runs in the third inning and eventually built a 6-0 lead through 5. Watertown tried to rally with a pair of runs in the bottom of the 6th, but ultimately fell 8-2. Then on May 5th, back at home against Winchester, the Raiders ran into another hot offense. Winchester erupted for 11 runs in the first 4 innings on their way to a 13-0 rout of Watertown. The baseball team has now lost 11 straight games and sits at 3-17 on the season. Over to girls lacrosse, where the Raiders hosted Reading Memorial under the lights of Victory Field on May 6th. Reading jumped out to a 3-0 lead early and never looked back, defeating Watertown 17-3. The Raiders lacrosse team is now 3-13 on the year and has dropped 3 consecutive matchups. There's a kind of a theme going on here with this highlight. But the bright spot this week came with the boys lacrosse team. Playing at BB&N Fields at Philipello Park on May 8th against Somerville, Watertown took control right from the opening face-off. The Raiders scored 4 goals in the first quarter and then 4 more before halftime to build a commanding lead. Watertown would go on to cruise to a 13-3 win, one of the team's most complete performances of the season. The boys team is now 3-10 on the year, although they did fall to Winchester earlier this week. And finally, while the softball team suffered a tough 20-5 loss to Wilmington on Wednesday night, the Raiders did have a big moment last Saturday on Senior Day, where Watertown rolled past Everett 20-8 in a high-scoring win, giving the team a memorable celebration on its home field. The softball team now 2-15 on the season. So that wraps it up for this week in sports. We'll be back next week with more updates on how the Raiders' spring teams are doing. Until then, I'm going to send it over to Maya and Rob to close out tonight's edition of Watertown Cable News. Take it away.